Hi guys, I hope everybody's doing good. I just want to take time in this video to show you guys how to do all of the problems on this first circle quiz so that you guys are ready to go for our test at the end of the semester. So I'm just going to walk through these. Feel free to fast forward as much as you want to the questions that you missed. So let's get started. So first one, it says QT, RT, and ST right here are all what? Those are all radiuses, or radii is the plural really of the circle. So you should have answered radii. For question number 2, it says QS is now this is a chord, but it's a chord that goes through the center of your circle. So that actually makes it a diameter. So it goes through the center. Which of the following is a chord that is not a diameter? So you know QS is a chord, but it's the diameter because it goes through the center of your circle. RT is not a chord because it doesn't go from side to side and intersect with the circle. So the other one, the only one that is a chord that is not a diameter is PS, so this length right here. Okay, this one says, which of the following is a central angle? So the only central angles I see in here are this angle and this angle. So it's either angle QTR, which that's an answer, so it's probably that one, or angle RTS, because these are at the center. So these angles at the middle are going to be your central angles. So that should have been your answer. This one says QR below is a what? So it's definitely an arc, and it's a minor arc because it's less than 180 degrees. So this should be a minor arc is your solution. Okay, this one, PRS below is a what? Now this definitely is an arc that has a degree bigger than 180, so this one is a major arc instead of a minor arc. QRS drawn in the arc QRS drawn in the circle below is a what? So that one is exactly 180 degrees, so that actually makes it a semicircle instead of a minor arc or a major arc. Okay, this one I want you to find the area of this circle given the diameter. So you know to find the area, our formula is pi r squared. So you got to find the radius. So if you take 25 divided by 2, you get your radius is 12.5. And then you just plug it in. So pi times 12.5 squared, plug that in your calculator. You guys should get 490.87 meters squared. And just make sure you round it appropriately on that one. So that should be your answer for that. If the area of a circle is 201 centimeters squared, find its diameter. Okay, so we know the pi r squared is the formula for our circle. We know that's going to equal this 201.06. So to find the diameter, we got to solve for the radius. So divide by pi. So you get radius squared equals this 201.06 divided by pi. Then you do the square root. You plug that in your calculator where you plug this whole thing in. You're going to get a radius that's like 7.99999, which is basically 8. And then it did ask for the diameter up here. So to get your diameter, you just double your radius. So our diameter should have been 16 centimeters. And that would be your final answer for this one. Okay, 10 builds off of this. So this one says, same thing. If the area of a circle is the 201.06 centimeters squared, find its circumference rounded 2 decimal places. So we already found out the radius is 8, so we're going to use that down here. And then to get their circumference, that's just 2 pi r, or 2 pi 8, or 16 pi. And then if you plug that in your calculator and round a little bit, you guys should get this is 50.27 centimeters. And just make sure you round appropriately with those 2 decimals. So if the digit behind this was a 5, you round the digit up. Okay, question number 11. So it says, let's switch colors here. MPL, measure MPL, is 63 degrees, and you want to find the measure of arc JK. So you're looking for this right here. So what I see is that this is a diameter, meaning this whole entire arc right here has to be 180 degrees, and they give me that this is 90. So if I want the measure of arc JK, I can just do 180 minus 90 minus 63. So I'm taking away this arc, and then I'll be left with just JK. And then if I do all of that in my calculator, this becomes 27 degrees. So measure of arc JK is 27. Okay, and then this builds off of this one. So we just figured out arc JK is 27. This angle is still 63, and then this one's still 90. So this one says, with all that information, find the measure of arc J or NJ right here. So again, I see this is a semicircle. So if I just do 180 minus this 27 right here, I will be able to get this arc JN. So if I do 180 minus 27, I get this is 153 degrees. So the measure of arc J or NJ is 153. Okay, this one, they give you AD right here is 19x minus 49, and then they give you that CD right here is 5x plus 37, and they want you to find the measure of arc CD. Okay, hopefully you realized again, this is a semicircle. So if I know 19x minus 49 plus 5x plus 37 should equal 180, do some algebra, so let's combine like terms. So I would have 24x's minus 12 is equal to 180. Add 12 to both sides, we'll get 24x equals 192. Divide by 24, you get x is 8. And then these are mean problems. Make sure you go back and actually find the measure of arc CD. So I'm just going to plug it in this formula right here. So measure of CD is 5 times 8 plus 37, which ends up being 77 degrees. So you should have selected 77 right there. Okay, 14. Let's see. Use the circle below, find the arc length of ST. So we're looking for the arc length of that right there, round to the nearest 100. So they do give us that PS, this entire thing is 28. So if I cut that in half, we get a radius of 14. And then remember to find the arc length, you do the angle measure of that arc out of 360 times the circumference, which is the 2 pi r. So we do need to find this angle of this arc right here. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so I see a semicircle right here where this arc is 125. So to find my angle, I'm just gonna do 180 minus 125, and I will get that to be 55 degrees. So my angle inside of here is 55. So I'm gonna do 55 out of 360, because that's telling me what fraction of the circumference this little part is right here. And I'm gonna multiply it by our circumference, which is just 2 pi, and then our radius was 14. So this is 28 pi, 55, 360. And then in your calculator, you're just gonna type in 55 times 28 divided by 360. If you convert it to being a fraction, you'll get 77 over 18. And I'm just gonna put the pi back in there. And then this one does say round to the nearest 100. So then you were just gonna multiply by pi, and you'll get that this is about 13.44 feet. So then you'd wanna choose that answer right there. Okay, 15, find the length of ED. So what this one gives us is it gives us that these two arcs are congruent. So that means their chords that create them also have to be congruent. So you just do 9x minus 1 has to equal 41 minus 5x. You do a bunch of lovely algebra. So add 1, add 5x. So you got 14x equals 42. Divide by 14, you'll get x is 3. And then they wanted you to find the length of this EF, so you just plug it in. And you'll get that EF is a length of 26. And we didn't give us units, so you would just write 26 in there. Okay, find the value of x. So here's what I see. The chords are the same distance away from the center, and the radius are perpendicular to it, or the radii are perpendicular. That means that these two arcs are congruent, and then they also give us this. So technically we know the arcs of the whole circle. So I know if I do 2 times this 10x minus 23, because these two arc lengths are going to be the same, so there's 2 of them, plus 106, that should equal my full circle, which is 360. So if I just start doing my algebra, 20x minus 46 is equal to, I'm going to subtract 106 to the other side, you get 254, then add 46, this will be 300. So 20x equals 300, divide by 20, you'll get x is 15. So that just took realizing that these two things were congruent and that you got the whole circle. Okay, there's a lot of information here. In circle Z, VZ is congruent to ZW, so those are congruent, and SV is 21. And the measure of UT, this whole entire thing, is 112 degrees. This one wants us to find just the length of UT. So what is the length of this blue line right here? Okay, so what you see is that they are the same distance away from the center. They hit at perpendicular 90-degree angles. So it means that these two arcs are congruent and that the chords are also congruent, and that the radius splits the chord and the arc perfectly in half. So if this is 21, that means this other side has to be 21. And if they're congruent, then it's the same thing over here. So these would both have to be 21 and 21. So if I just do 21 times 2, we would get that the length of UT is 42. Okay, and then the last question. So same thing, let's see. So we know the chords and the arcs are congruent and that these two radii are splitting the chords and the arcs in half. So if you know this whole measure of ut is 112 degrees and you want to find just the measure of xt, so just this, we do 112 divided by 2, and you get that that measure of xt is 56 degrees. So just know that whenever these are perpendicular and the same distance, so they did give us again that those are congruent, it cuts the chords and the arcs in half, and they're also congruent chords and arcs. All right, guys, I hope that helped you on your quiz, understanding if you did some of these problems wrong, and I hope you guys are all having a great day. Bye, guys.